QuickBooks Pro Plus Desktop 2022 OneNote presentation. Download and open sample file. Get ready because we bookkeeping pros are moving up the hilltop with QuickBooks Pro Desktop 2022. Here we are in OneNote. If you have access to OneNote, would like to follow along, you're not required to, but if would like to, we're in the icon on the left-hand side. We're in the Topic Instruction tab down in the 1020 Download and Open Sample File tab. Also note, when using OneNote, take a look at the Immersive Reader tool. Our topic instructions will also be in the text area, same name, same number, but with transcripts that can be translated into multiple different languages and either listened to or read in them. Closing the icon, note that the topic introductions in OneNote will have the same name and number in the presentations. The topic introductions being designed to give a quick recap and introduction to the topic, provide screenshots when applicable, website links when applicable, and introduce accounting topics that could complement the topics we'll be going over within the QuickBooks software. Here we're looking at the download and open the sample file. So in prior presentations, we got the installation of the software, and if you have the software on your system, you will most likely have a shortcut which will look like this for the QuickBooks icon. That is the most common way that people will then go into the QuickBooks system. I recommend setting up another folder that can hold the files that we will be generating as we go through the process. Note that when you open up the QuickBooks program, you're going to at least have a QuickBooks file, which will be a separate file to the QuickBooks program. And then you could also have backup files. You want to save and store the QuickBooks file, the data file, in another area. I recommend not putting it on the desktop because when you download it, you'll have one main file, and then it'll probably have some other files that you may or may not need that will kind of clutter wherever you put the file. So I recommend making a file specifically for the QuickBooks data files. Once you have that set up, it'll look something like this. We're going to set up a file just called QuickBooks data files. So something like that, so you know where the QuickBooks file is at. It's also useful to know where the QuickBooks file is at because most of the time people will open QuickBooks by simply double-clicking the program, not remembering where the files are, possibly not remembering where their backups are. And so you want to keep an idea of where those things are in case there's an issue, so you can actually find the data file that you're going to be working with. So then we're going to open up the QuickBooks program. You simply open up the QuickBooks program. If you have no other company file that would be open, it would look something like this, this being the startup page. You can then look and start a new company file here, or you could restore. We're going to set up a sample file. So we're going to open this sample file. And when you open that sample file, it's going to ask you where do you want to store it on your computer. This is similar to making, in essence, a Word document that's going to complement the Word program opening up the Word document. You got to save then the document, in this case the data file, on your computer into that folder. In our example, we're going to put it in the folder that we had then set up. And once you do that, this one will open automatically into the program. And that's a little deceiving because then you didn't double check basically where the actual data file is. So if you're not careful in this process, you will just download it somewhere on your computer. So make sure you're careful here so you know where the data file is going. Again, I recommend not putting it on the desktop so it doesn't clutter it. And then we've got this little item here that's going to say, hey, look, this is a sample file. That's what we'll be working with. It'll be perfect because it has some data in it already that we can work with that will be different than the data we'll be working with when we create a new company file. The QuickBooks software will then look like this, already having data in it, perfect for navigating and practice the navigation process. If we go back to the desktop, then you're going to see your icon for the QuickBooks icon here. This is what the data file looks like. So it looks a little bit different than the QuickBooks file. Like with Microsoft Word and the related document files, you could open this data file by opening up the program. This program would be similar to opening up Microsoft Word, or you could double click the data file, which would then open up the program and the data file within it, which would be similar to double clicking on the document, on the actual document file for a Word document. But note that most people go into the computer program and open it up first. And if you only work in one company, it'll pretty much always open up the prior data file that you are in. That could be deceiving, or that can lead to you not remembering where the data file is. So you want to make sure you know where it is.